This video was brought to you by Slidebean Founders Edition. Get help from our team in your pitch deck, your financial models, and your fundraising. Sign up with the link in the description. The backbone of Slidebean's growth has been diligently and accurately tracking our customer acquisition costs. Our marketing strategy consists of cycles that go like this. Spend some money testing a marketing channel, usually between $500 and $1,000 for a final test. Measure how many acquisitions we get from that channel, and if the numbers make sense, double the budget. Repeat until the numbers no longer work. Every single marketing campaign we do, and we continue to do, is based on this premise, including these YouTube videos. Our first successful marketing channel was Google Search Ads. We doubled the budget until the cost of acquisition no longer made sense to us. Then we did SEO and finally YouTube. With this channel, we are still in the process of doubling down our budget every month, and the numbers still make sense for us. We went from a budget of around $1,000 to around $10,000 per month that we spent in video production. And that continues to make sense because we know we are generating more than 5 times that every month. Now, it's really easy to track where a customer came from when you're using digital channels. Some channels, however, are much harder to measure. So in this video, we'll go over the tactics that we've used to track conversions over the years and a few hacks that might be useful for harder to track conversions. Digital channels. Let's start with the easy stuff. You can track conversions from digital using Google Analytics. The platform is free, and as long as it is set up correctly, it'll track all the data that you need. You can install Google Analytics by placing a short line of code on every page on your website. As soon as you do, you'll start seeing every single website visit tracked on the platform. Now, I don't have time to go into every single Google Analytics feature, and to be honest, the platform is so powerful, I probably don't know half of what it can do. But here are some crucial details related specifically to tracking customer acquisition and conversions. The quintessential feature in Google Analytics is called goals. You can find that under Admin, Goals. A goal is quite literally a conversion. You can define that conversion when the user reaches a specific page, for example, a success page on your website. A goal may also be visiting a specific number of pages, staying on the site for a given amount of time, or events. Analytics also has a complete conversion tracking system for an e-commerce website, which Squarespace, Shopify, and Webflow all support. Now, you're probably going to be tracking your main conversion event using success pages or events, and I'm going to dig into those too. With a success page, all you need to do is add the URL, and Google Analytics will automatically log a conversion whenever somebody visits that URL. Events are a bit more advanced. You'll need to send event information to Google Analytics using JavaScript. All events will be logged under the user behavior section, every single event that you send. Then you can define a specific event that you would consider a conversion. This should be no trouble for your dev team. Now, once you have goals installed in Google Analytics, there are tons of different types of information that you can gather. For example, you can go to the landing pages section to find out which pages drive the most goal conversions. The conversion rate will also be tracked and calculated automatically. You can also see, for example, which channels are driving the most goal conversions. Channels in Google Analytics are broad traffic categories, such as organic, which is searches, direct, which is when somebody types the exact URL on the browser, social media, referrals from other websites, display ads, emails, and so on. Another great feature is tracking funnels. If there are various steps needed to complete a goal, Google Analytics will let you add those steps to the settings of the goal conversion, which will provide you with a funnel view that lets you see the drop-off rate in different places of the process. We use these goals a lot, not only to track conversions into our platform plans, but signups, downloads on our templates, and customers using specific features inside our presentation builder. Any success event on your website should be a goal, and you should continuously keep an eye on them, especially when you launch new features. Also, having your goals set up correctly will allow you to run free A/B tests on your pages using a platform called Google Optimize. Again, Optimize is free, another tool by Google that lets you change the wording, the colors, the images, and even create entirely new pages and split traffic between them. Google Optimize then reports which of the 2 pages drove the most goal conversions and automatically selects a winner once there's enough data to be absolutely sure which page was the best one. We try our best to have A/B tests running on most of our main landing pages pretty much all the time. Google also lets you track conversions on Google Ads. You can even optimize your Google Ads towards a specific cost of acquisition. For example, You can tell Google Ads that you're willing to pay $250 for a conversion, and Google will balance the bids and the ad placement to stay within that goal. Now, goals may not work for everything. For example, in our case, customers often sign up to our presentation builder from a channel, but the activation to a plan happens a couple of days later after they've had a chance to try and honestly to fall in love with our platform. So the first visit to our website may be a referral from YouTube, but the second visit may be direct traffic. So who gets the credit? Google Analytics has a feature called User ID, which I actually haven't had a chance to play with, but we're in the process of implementing ourselves. I'll tell you all about that later. But so far we've done it with different tools such as Kissmetrics and Intercom. Another fantastic way to track customer sources is by just asking your users. Whenever you upgrade your Slidebean account, we will ask the question, where did you hear about us? If you give them a simple menu with straightforward options, you can collect incredibly valuable data here. For example, so many customers in the past few months are coming to us after watching a YouTube video. Many of them just search for Slidebean in Google, which means would generally be attributing that conversion to search when it was really a conversion that came from YouTube. The only way to know is by asking, and don't be afraid to ask. While extra steps in funnels are often detractors for customers and conversions, we are making sure that we ask this question only after the conversion already happened. Another way to track conversions accurately is using UTM tags. Google now calls this the campaign URL builder. It's a simple form provided by Google that attaches parameters to the URL, which Google Analytics can read. For example, if you're putting a link on a Medium post, you can define a custom URL to know which post, which specific publication is bringing the traffic and the conversions. You can get as specific as having different URLs for different call to actions within the same article. That's usually an overkill in my experience. Now, let's talk about estimating CAC, or the cost of acquisition. The most basic formula for cost of acquisition is dividing your marketing spend by the number of acquired customers. Now, doing this math for a paid advertising campaign or for a sponsorship is pretty easy. Just take the total spend and divide it by the number of customers. As long as you're pretty sure about that number of customers and that attribution, you should be fine. However, this gets harder when a campaign involves the team's time, for example, and not ads specifically. In that case, you can estimate your company cost per hour for each one of the team members involved and then divide it by the number of acquired customers. Now, I also like to track what I call a general cost of acquisition number. For that, I take into account the cost of the marketing and the sales team and their operational cost. Operational cost is a sum of our rent, our HR team, our office expenses, and even a fraction of my own salary, the salary that's dedicated or the time that's dedicated to managing the team. I divide the total costs by the number of team members, which gives me the average overhead cost of an employee in the company. In our case, that number is around $700 per employee. Then the real cost of acquisition is the sum of growth, team salaries, that overhead cost I just talked about, the cost of the ads, and any other expenses by the marketing team, and then we take all that and divide it by the number of customers acquired. Again, this number is not going to be useful for tracking the success of one campaign versus the other, but it's a fantastic indication of the progress of the business. Using cost of acquisition for projections. Historical performance is just the beginning. If you track these cost of acquisition costs correctly, you can use them to estimate future performance in your financial modeling. Our thesis for marketing is, again, running tests, finding out which tests are successful, and then repeating. What we do for future projections is take the effective marketing budget and project it towards the future. Experiments are not part of that budget, that's important. So we try to keep them apart so as not to skew the data. For example, you can take the 6-month average of marketing spend and the 6-month average of the cost of acquisition and project towards the future. Let's look at this pattern, for example. This company has been increasing its total marketing budget by around $1,500 every month, with spikes here and there. Still, there's an overall trending increase in the cost of acquisition as the marketing budget increases. That's pretty much expected. The cost of acquiring customers gets higher the more money you spend. Now, we can use this trend as a variable to project towards the future. We can guess that if the marketing budget continues to increase at the same rate, the cost of acquisition will continue to do so as well. And thus, we can estimate the number of new customers that we'll be getting. Again, this is a guess, a projection, but it's based on real data. That's as good as it gets. One big mistake I often see is companies modeling their future growth simply based on a random number of customers they expect to get every month or towards the end of the year. To me, the best way to model future growth is by estimating both the scale in your marketing budget, your cost of acquisition, and using that division to estimate the number of customers you effectively plan to bring in. That way you know that if you expect to bring 10,000 new customers in your third year, you'll need to spend, say, $500,000 in marketing, unless you come up with a magic formula to decrease your acquisition cost. You can also look at your projections in the future and estimate if the numbers are feasible, and if the cost of bringing those customers in is realistic. Now, the sheet that I used for all of these examples is our financial model template, by the way. We have spreadsheets built out for a bunch of different business models, e-commerce, subscriptions, social media platforms, and they're all available for purchase on our website, but they're also included with our Founders Edition plan. The Founders Edition plan includes downloads of every single one of our templates. More than that, we designed it as a hand-holding plan to assist you in the process of building your pitch deck and getting to investors. You can book calls with our writing team, submit your slides for our design team to review them. You can even book a call with me to go over your fundraising plans or your growth strategies. That's all included in the plan. You can find more info about the Founders Edition plan in the link that we've left in the description. You'll notice that it is a UTM tagged link, which will let us track the actual effectiveness of this video's conversions. So if you found this video useful, make sure to subscribe and we'll see you next week.